everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to look at how I made this card featuring the Magical Unicorn stamp set from Inkon3. This is probably one of my favorite unicorn stamp sets of all time, definitely in the top 5, and I mean there are a lot of unicorns out there. I have used a whole range of goodies from Inkon3, including the Fadeout No-Coloring ink. This is just beautiful magical stuff. So as you can see, I have used my mini misties to stamp up the unicorn. I have stamped it up 3 times to get a really solid outline, and then I have grabbed my Zig Clean Color markers to do my coloring. The cardstock is Bristol Smooth Vellum cardstock from Strathmore. I do find that this is a really good cardstock to use when I'm using my stick markers. It just blends beautifully. Now, I am a blue kind of girl, so I'm starting with my blues, and I picked out a few that I thought would work really, really well together. And I'm starting with my lightest, and I'm just putting down a little bit of base color. And I'm going to be jibber-jabbering probably a little bit as the coloring goes along. And the reason I'm gonna show a lot of this in like real time, there will also be a time lapse later, it's because a lot of people have asked me to show how I use my stick markers when I'm coloring. And to be honest, I don't have just one single way of doing it. I'm a very sort of willy-nilly kind of color girl. I go with the flow, and what I feel works for me that day, that's what I do. Now on this one, I have started with a little bit of light color, and then I've gone in with a darker color, probably one of the darker colors, and then I've gone back in again with my lighter color to blend it out. But you will see my process as I go along, and I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't, feel free to leave a comment or with a question, or ask me to clarify what my thought process was behind whatever decision there was that you might question or want to know more about. Part of my process when I go and color with stick markers is slow and steady and blend, blend, blend. But don't despair if it doesn't come to you easily. The whole thing with coloring is that it's supposed to be fun, and if you don't enjoy it, something is not right. So whether it's that you're using the wrong kind of medium for you, or whether you just haven't got the right technique down, or whether it's simply a case of you got the wrong kind of paper for whatever medium you're using, just look into it and then keep practicing, because it will come easier, I promise. And practice makes perfect. But in the meantime, have fun. Now, part of my process is with my stick markers is that I always outline with the darker colors, and then I blend in with the second darkest color, and then I go gradually towards my lighter. Now you can see the little piece of kitchen towel in the corner. I will go in very, very regularly and like clean off my markers to make sure that I get the original color as well as stop some contamination. This is particularly important when you're using the lighter colors, because they do suck up the darker colors very, very easily. So if you look closely on this part here, you can see almost immediately my haze blue marker has picked up that second darker color, which I think is cobalt blue. Moving on to a darker section of the mane, I want to add a much, much darker blue. So I'm going in with another darker blue and then adding much, much, much more color, because this bit, I wanted to go from a light blue to a much more intense blue, and then it's going to morph into sort of turquoisey blue. So there you go. Yes, cobalt blue was the second color. So I'm adding lots and lots and lots of cobalt blue this time for this part of the mane. And then I will go back in with my lighter blue to blend out that look, and also to make it just look a little bit smoother. Because as you can see the bits where it's just a little bit too much color. I'm hoping that my explaining and this little bit of the film will make more sense than I feel it is. But I mean, the main thing really is practice. And then if you are unsure of what colors look good, have a little scrap piece of paper next to you and just see whether you think those colors blend in well together or not, or whether you can actually get the blend the one you want. Because even though it is just paper, it is a shame to kind of ruin an image if you have an idea of what you want it to look. The other easier way, of course, to blend the Zig markers is to add water with a watercolor brush. Now you can see in the video that I actually have them on hand in case I need them, but I don't think I actually ended up using them on anything other than maybe the ears and the actual face of the unicorn itself. Also, one thing I will say about the Zig markers is that they are incredibly forgiving in the ways of watercoloring is that you can blend and add more colors and just take away with by adding more water. So don't despair if for whatever reason it just doesn't look right away. The colors I've used for the teal turquoise sections are from darkest to lightest: Persian green, turquoise green, and green shadow. So as you can see here now, I'm outlining with the darkest colors and adding just a little bit more because I'm going to then go in with my second lightest color, so turquoise green, and smooth out that line and go in a little bit more into my image. And then I'm going to finish off the blending with a green shadow, just to give it a smooth, really sort of gentle look. I'm adding lots of green shadow on this part here before I even go into the turquoise green, just to give a bit of a base layer and then also ease up the blending as I go along as well. Because I do find that when there is a little bit of water on the paper already, it will blend so much easier. Whether that's normal water or color, it just seems to make it so much easier. And even though in this part here, you can see I'm going in and out and wiping off the excess color to get the blend really, really smooth. It's not actually dragging off a lot of the green into the blue, but it's just making that transition from the blue to the turquoise or jade green even, just really, really nice and smooth. Of course, this is only how one of the representations or presentations of a unicorn mane, how I sort of imagine it would look like. You can use whatever colors you think, you know, the limit is basically the scope of your imagination. We're coming up to the part where we are going to kick into a time lapse to finish the rest of the coloring. But I'm hoping that as much as I'm showing you now, I'm hoping it makes sense. But as I said, if you have any questions or if you want anything more clarified, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment with a question. So the top of the mane I decided to go in yellow to then blend into green and then to go into that jade green turquoise part. And this looks really, really orange to start out with, but I'm gonna blend and hopefully that's, well, I say hopefully, I mean, I've already seen the end result, so I know it's gonna work. But like I said, this is, even if you're getting to this stage and you think, oh, that's not the color I want, just blend. It will probably work out. And if for whatever reason it doesn't, you could try adding another color on top of it, or simply maybe paper piece, another piece on top of it. And you can see what a difference it really makes by adding the lightest yellow and just going in over that dark. It just makes the blend really, really smooth. I've skipped over little sections of here because I've sort of figured, well, we kind of covered all these parts already in the chit chat part of the video, but I'm hoping that you don't feel like you're missing out too much, because it really is just a case of adding colors, make sure they kind of blend into each other and or work color wise next to each other, and then it's blend, 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 blend. Oh dear. Another surprise appearance of Jem Jem, one of my cheeky cheekies. Mummy's talking now, baby. Need to be quiet. Yeah, thank you. Right, so as you can see now, I have started on the second part of the mane, which is still in a time lapse. So I'm gonna keep into the same colors. So it's almost like she's got a rainbow mane. So it's all ending in blues and working up into the rainbow colors. However, on this part here, instead of going for the teals and yellows, I'm going to finish off the top part in the purple, just to kind of bring in a little bit more color and just round off the rainbow thing, sort of thing. But I did realize once I finished that I didn't actually add a single shade of pink. I don't know what happened there. I don't know whether I ran out of mane or what it was, but no pink on this one. Oh, and while we're watching the time lapse of the coloring, I just thought I'd mention as well that I will link all the products that I've used for this card in the comment sections below, descriptions. So if you want to grab any of these, they will be linked with affiliate links to the Inkon3 shop. If you shop using my affiliate links, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. You have no idea how much it means to me, just to try to, you know, make a little bit of headway in the masses and masses of money that I have spent on my cross stuff over the years. It's a little bit of a dream to come true to be able to make back a little bit of that money just by doing something that I love. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it so much. With the mane finished, no, Jem Jem, shush, shush, shush now. We'll have cheese later if you're a good girl. As I was saying, with the mane finished off, it was time to move on to fill in the rest of the unicorn. I have decided to only do the ears and the face of the unicorn. The flowers I kept white for just the simple reason that I wanted them to kind of stand out a little bit against all this rainbow lushness. And I've used some light grays to do the coloring of the actual face of the unicorn. I didn't actually blend some of these lines well enough, so they are a little bit harsher than I wanted them to be, but that would be something that I will have to practice on for the next time. Now, so that's the coloring of the unicorn itself done with the uni-horn and the ears. And with that, the last thing to do was just to add a little bit of color to the middle of the flowers. And then, as you can see, just on the side there, I have dripped on a little bit of liquid Pixie dust onto a tile. And with a watercolor brush, I've filled in the flowers very, very generously with this Pixie dust. And to finish off the card, I've stamped up hugs, kisses, and unicorn wishes in chrome embossing powders, also from Inkon3. And with that, the card is done. Thank you so much for stopping by today, and I hope you've enjoyed all this jibber jabbering.